right, I'll start by being clear for today that this will be one of my more serious homilies than usual, because we heard that life is not always easy or fun. You know, we had some sobering readings between the second reading and the gospel. But behind all of that uncomfortable stuff that we just heard, there remains a real and authentic message of hope. Hope is what binds everything together today, and I mean what we heard and why we heard it. To get into the gospel a little bit, we heard the alternate version of the Beatitudes. You guys know the Beatitudes, you at least recognize the term. However, if you're able to quote a few Beatitudes, chances are you're going to quote from the Gospel of Matthew. Blessed are you who are poor in spirit, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the peacemakers, and blessed are those who mourn. All of that is the Gospel of Matthew. Today we heard Luke's version, which isn't nearly as popular. But the Gospel of Luke's Beatitudes are a little more clear. Blessed are you who are hungry, you will be satisfied later. Blessed are you when they attack you, for your reward will be great in heaven. They're nice and clear, and they all follow the same pattern. Blessed are you because you're putting up with this tough thing, for that tough thing will not follow into the kingdom of heaven. Again, it's all about a message of hope. And I don't mean the shallow kind of hope that says things will be better later on. That kind of hope does not always go the distance. Okay, it doesn't really follow through all the time. When we talk about the theological virtues of faith, hope, and love, we're talking about a deeper hope than any of that. Divine hope is when it's, you know in your heart that your turmoil and your hardship are in service to something greater. To use a cliche, we have hope even when we're oppressed or attacked, when we know that God's plan is still in effect. Now, by the way, I try to use that phrase as little as possible, God's plan, because when people are struggling with their faith, or if they're going through something, they don't want to hear platitudes about God's plan. However, I mean, to be fair, I also shouldn't be talking about God's plan because I'm a lowly human being. I'm full of mortality and original sin. I don't know God's plan. However, I know that God has a plan. And I know that because if you employ faith and reason together, it must be so. I'll walk you through it. This is how it works. Now, God is anything but random chaos. Okay? Whatever we can say about God, he's not random chaos. That is not him, even though there's chaos in the world. That's okay, because those two things are very different. So if God is not absolute chaos, that means that there's form and purpose, because form and purpose are opposites of chaos. And if you have form and purpose at work over time, well, then you have a plan. Because a plan, simply stated, is a goal or a purpose that requires time to complete. So with God, there is purpose and form, and with creation, it is unfolding as time progresses. Therefore, God has a plan for creation. Any other conclusion would be a contradiction of who God is in the first place. And we feel that ripple of ultimate purpose when we have real hope. To have hope in the spiritual sense of the word, means that you realize that God is working in the good times as well as the bad times. Having that hope is knowing that you are not done because God is not yet done. So I have hope for myself that I've done more good than harm in life. Fairly common hope, I'd say, overall. And I have hope for all of us. You know, that together, our time here has helped us all progress on the journey of redemption. And by the way, that includes the people that no longer come to church and the people that have never understood the point of church in the first place. That hope is all the same. And I have hope for the church. In spite of all that it's been through, in spite of all the sin and stupidity that have happened in it, I have hope because the church is not some random object to be discarded. It is of God. Whether it's big or small or popular or unpopular, it is of God. How quickly our enemies seem to forget that. But then again, what we heard, blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you and attack you and denounce your name as evil because of the Son of Man. Rejoice, for your reward will be great in heaven, for they treated the prophets in just the same way. I say it again, it is all about hope. There are people out there who say that free will is an illusion. They say that order and justice is just an illusion, and I reject all that rubbish. I hold fast to something that is far bolder than those cowardly statements. I say that chaos is the illusion. It's a trick to convince us that we don't matter and that our actions are meaningless. But our actions are not meaningless, and we do matter, and we always have. To know that we have always mattered in the eyes of God is the very origin of true hope. So, if you believe in nothing but absolute, meaningless, infinite chaos, I'm not sure there's anything I can do for you at this time. There's not much for me to work with there. But if you believe in something more than entropy and chance, if you can believe in something like form and substance and direction and humanity or justice, then you have everything you need to have real hope. Because real hope is the recognition and realization that God is at work in all things and at all times, especially during those frightening and desperate times when they say, all hope seems lost. Not for us, it's not. Not for him. Not ever. So don't let anyone take that away from you.